Finding epic campsites in really cool locations is probably one of the best aspects of being an overlander. It feels like everybody on social media is finding these really cool hidden gems that just appear to be on a completely different level. Whether it's a mountaintop vista with epic views or a tucked away meadow by a creek, a great location can make your trip feel like something out of a movie. So how do you go about finding these secret hidden gems that make adventures so unforgettable? Finding these secret hidden places can oftentimes be very tedious, time-consuming, and even challenging. I get asked a lot about where the locations are that I find, and while I'm not really going to spill any secrets today, I am going to share with you some tips and techniques that you can use to go out and find your own cool, epic locations. Starting with my first tip, skip social media. Avoid chasing all the popular places that you see everybody flock to on YouTube and Instagram. Social media is flooded with locations that are going to be crowded more often than not, and for the most part, we try to get out and avoid the crowds. Overcrowding is definitely going to be one of the biggest issues when it comes to finding locations in the outdoors, especially when that location isn't built for such volumes of traffic that come through it. And if history has anything to say about that, it's that once a location goes viral, that location more often than not gets overrun and trashed by people that simply just don't care about the outdoors as much as we do. So my advice is to dig deeper and search past the surface information that everybody else is already aware of. Now, this doesn't really mean that you shouldn't ever go to any of these cool locations you see on Instagram or YouTube, but basing your entire adventure off of what somebody else is going out and doing, as well as what everybody else is going out and doing, isn't really going to be a good way of giving yourself a unique experience that is uniquely yours. By putting in the time and effort to go and find these really cool epic locations yourself, you get the benefit to enjoy it when you finally reach that destination. More often than not, I find that the best spots we come across are the ones that are hardest to get to. Getting off the beaten path, especially through rougher terrain, more often than not means fewer people and better views. And trust me, it is well worth it when you go out and find these locations yourself. Finding these locations really goes so far beyond just doing a simple rudimentary search for epic locations in New Mexico. Having the right tools and knowing how to use them is crucial for finding these really awesome locations. While there's a lot of tools out there like OnX or AllTrails, my personal favorite is to use Gaia GPS. Gaia allows me to plot routes and mark points of interest for pretty much every trip I even go on. And it always gives me enough details about a particular location so that I know more particularly what I'm getting into. Map layers allow me to see terrain as well as potential landmarks that might be of interest to me. Not to mention other useful map layers that allow you to see things such as satellite views, cell phone coverage, rainfall, and even past and present wildfires. It also allows me to see boundaries of national forest, BLM, wilderness, and private land so that I always know that where I'm setting up camp is the right location. When I'm searching for epic locations, my process is pretty straightforward. I'm usually going to start by picking a general region that I want to explore, and then I'm going to start narrowing down my search in that area. I'll sift through different map layers and even use 3D views to slowly narrow down to more specific points of interest that catch my eye. I'll usually use Gaia in conjunction with satellite images to try and get a more detailed look at what might be an interesting location. What I'm looking for always depends on what I'm wanting to do. Am I trying to search for an epic location for camping? Am I trying to find a spot for a good hiking trail? Or am I trying to find a really cool epic view where I can fly my drone? By comparing map layers, I'm always on the lookout for epic views or tucked away dirt roads that look less traveled. A lot of times, landmarks and roads are not going to show up on any particular map. And when that happens, I'm usually going to be looking at satellite images as well, because that'll often reveal things that otherwise wouldn't show up. Once I have a couple of interesting locations picked out, I then begin the final steps to build my route and connect all the points of interest where I can then figure out distances between things and determine how long a trip might actually take. Of course, not every location is going to be a winner. There is a certain involvement of trial and error. For one reason or another, you may oftentimes find that the location you discovered, once you get there, isn't at all what you expected, and sometimes it's even just a massive flop. Failure is going to happen, and it's just part of the process. And this has happened to us quite a few times. Sometimes it's due to having a locked gate. Sometimes maps are just outdated, and other times maybe the weather just hasn't been cooperating and is just preventing us from getting to a certain location that we want to go to. But more often than not, the journey that took you out there in the first place can sometimes reveal things that you otherwise normally would not have noticed or even expected. Many of our favorite campsites we found were never part of our original plan while traveling. So often we would find something that is way more interesting by sheer coincidence, just by driving out to our destination that we originally intended to go to. Other times we had to pivot our plans for one reason or another and come up with something new on the spot. Being able to adapt and make the most of whatever changes happen is a huge part of what makes traveling memorable. And ultimately, it's these experiences that make these trips so interesting and gives us stories worth telling. Winning and losing is just part of the process. You just have to get yourself out there and start exploring, and at some point, you will come across something that is really cool and unique and that you discovered. So all that being said, I hope you guys found this video helpful and interesting. If you're watching up to this point, you might actually be interested in supporting our channel as we start to grow. You can head on over to our Patreon page where we post a whole bunch of behind the scenes content. And we actually just recently uploaded a handful of wallpapers from photos of some previous journeys of our favorite locations that we've been to. Yeah, it's just a great way of helping us keep the adventure alive and supporting us. And again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.